Hi guys, and welcome to another match day review. And I'm happy to be joined with Alexi and Raniel. But just before we get started and introduce you guys, we need to say a massive thanks. Obviously, we've been growing on Twitter, we've been growing on YouTube. We're doing a great job just now, and everyone's getting involved. We're bringing on new people like Raniel. It's great to have you on, mate. Obviously, Alexi, you've been on a lot of the previews, and you will be in the future. But before we get started, we need to say please follow us on Trafford Talk. If you're watching on Twitter, possibly, I mean, basically everyone's been watching it on Twitter or YouTube. We were struggling to grow, but we're doing our best and we're creating genuine United content hosted by a few of the guys who basically just love talking about United, like myself. So the preview, sorry, is about Southampton, 8:15 tomorrow, and I mean we've had obviously Arsenal at the weekend. There, it was 0-0. Personally, I was bored watching it. I kind of wanted to turn it off and play a bit of FIFA or whatever, but I powered through, managed to watch it all. Very boring game, but I just want to hear, obviously, what do you guys think about it? Alex, we'll start off with you. Have you managed to go over the Arsenal game just before we go into talking about Southampton?
Yeah, but you know what? It was just really annoying, wasn't it? It was just really annoying. I mean, I've seen a lot of criticism of Ollie that I don't particularly agree with, because I actually feel like he set up the team quite well. Because I think a manager's job in these kind of games is to set up the team where you're defensively solid and you create chances to score. And we did have pretty big chances. I mean, the Cavani one was just, but I just think that result would be fine if we hadn't lost to Sheffield United. But it is a much worse result. And I was sat there watching it, and I was thinking, this is the exact kind of game where City or Liverpool, I think, go there and they're clinical and they win, and it's a big statement. And while a draw at Arsenal on its own isn't the end of the world, we've got to start beating big teams now. We've got to, because City will beat Arsenal away. I can absolutely guarantee that. And if we're going for a league, obviously we need to match or better their results. And it just frustrates me so much that, well, for example, in the space of 4 days, we've lost 5 points, 5 point gap on Liverpool and City, or 5 point either way, and we're now only one ahead of Liverpool. And yeah, we're well behind
Yeah,
City now. And that
it's
is just that
looking
few
like that.
days.
Sorry, just
Yeah,
continue,
sorry.
mate. Sorry, I thought you were done. Uh,
Oh no, yeah. No, I was just final point, I was just gonna say that few days, those two games have damaged us so much, because this time last week we were top of the Premier League. And now everything suddenly seems a bit like, you know. But yeah, overall really disappointing. But I would argue that we should have won, because we had the chances to win the game, a bit like at Anfield, a bit like against PSG, bit like against Leicester. Countless games this season, we've set the team up properly, created chances, not finished them, and dropped points.
that is pretty much how I feel. I mean, you look at United recently and you think getting a point against Liverpool on paper before the game started, that was great. Perfect result for us. And I mean, you go on to the games after that, and we've just not done well enough. I mean, Arsenal picked up 4 points against us in the league this season, and Arsenal are sitting mid-table, probably playing the worst they've played for years, and Arsenal haven't been great. But then you look onto the game against Southampton, and they've been giving our teams a lot of pressure. Danny Ings has been great. And you look at their midfield, defence has been solid. It's worrying times actually going into this game. I can't say I'm too confident, but Raniel, your first words on Trafford Talk. It's great to have you on, obviously. I'd like to hear what you think about basically United against Arsenal and the 0-0.
You know what it is, yeah, with this squad? It's like Jekyll one moment and Hyde the next. You don't know what you're going to get. It's like the chances we created. I mean, that pass Rashford should have made to Cavani It's like he's done multiple times. He should have passed to Cavani in games that have, for example, especially against Liverpool, you can remember that clear one. And then that clear-cut chance Rashford had should have been where he made that one touch.
Yeah,
I felt like he should have buried that at the back of the net. It's like Greenwood, in my opinion, would have finished that off. But obviously it's done. It is what it is. And obviously the Sheffield United game, I don't know. That still winds me up even thinking about it.
I'm absolutely lost for words for that Sheffield game. I mean, we always kind of do like to round it up, Alexia, as you know, kind of how we've got on previously. But yeah, I'm still not over that game. It was absolutely terrible the way we played. Oliver Burke, I mean, I'm Scottish and I can even admit he is terrible. I can't believe he managed to get the second shot away. No. But yeah, we need to work on that, obviously, going into this game. And I mean, I want to move on to this and I want to talk about the lineup because obviously we'll be chopping and changing. It seems like, obviously, we know it's a long year, long season. Rotation is necessary. And I just want to hear, not just from you guys, I want to hear in the comments as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Whoever's here. I'd love to hear your views, obviously, about the starting 11. But first of all, what's that? My phone. First of all, we're going to start talking about the strike force, and I want to hear, obviously, formation. We'll go with the formation first. We'll start talking about that and what you believe the formation should be, and then we'll get into the strikers. So, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really open game. I just think the way Southampton play is really, really exciting and like really high pressing, and it's really great football, but it benefits us perfectly. And for that reason, I would go with a front three of Rashford, Greenwood, and Cavani, because I just think Rashford and Greenwood on the wings on the counter could be really brilliant. And this is the kind of game that you look at and the way Southampton play. It could go like the Leeds game did, where they're so open, we get in behind and we score a lot of goals because we're really good in open games. Or it could be a bit different where we suffer defensively and stuff like that. But I think the one player, weirdly, who maybe I just don't feel like he's had enough minutes recently is Greenwood. I think Rashford and Marshall have been on pretty much all the time, either of them. But I think Greenwood's been the best performer out of all of them in the last couple of weeks. And I just think in this game, he needs to just start and stay on for 90 minutes. Because I really think at the moment, his confidence must be sky high. And, for example, Marshall, I think Marshall, his confidence is obviously suffering. And I think it would be healthy for him to have a bit of time out of the team, to be honest. I like the guy, but there's no hiding from the fact he's not been great at all. So yeah, I would say Rashford, Greenwood and Cavani, because we'll be able to get in behind a lot in this game. And yeah, Greenwood as well is the best player to play on the right because no one else is that good there. And for me, that's a big problem that we've had for 10 years, that the right-hand side, it's not really been the same since Antonio Valencia had his little decline or his leg break maybe, because he was really good there. But yeah, since then, we've lacked a right winger. But I think Greenwood is the best man for the right-hand side. And yeah, so I partner Greenwood with Rashford and Cavani.
Yeah, and Rani, I'd like to hear your views about the formation. If you can obviously go against Alexi. Everyone's got different formations. What you think's the best for United?
I'd personally go for Greenwood and Cavani as a front two. Change it up a bit and see if that works. I don't think that's been tried before.
But do you think now is the time? Do you think now is the time to experiment? Because I mean, we've obviously had success throughout this season with, they say 3 up front, they say 2 up front, but not Greenwood specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, we've obviously seen Rashford. So would you then bench Rashford and Martial?
If it was a 3 up front, I'd go for Rashford, Cavani, and Greenwood. I actually agree with Alexi there, if I'm honest. I mean, I don't think that's been tried before. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, there's been that many games already. And
I don't think it actually has been tried, yeah.
Yeah. Or if you're going to give Rashford a break, then I don't see why not. Try Greenwood
or
Cavani up front.
So what about this guy though? I mean, I watched under 23s game at the weekend there against Liverpool. The 6-3 game it was. Joe Hugo managed to score 4 goals. What a player he is, by the way. Great player. And Amad Diallo. I mean, he was amazing. Way too good for under 23s for me. He's wee penalty at the end where he chipped it in. And also his goal to open the scoring for United. And it was a very well taken goal. I don't know if you guys obviously seen it. I know obviously active on Twitter and the video was everywhere during that day. I mean, Amad Diallo's got a lot of potential, but I mean, do you think that Diallo's obviously got a chance to come into the team for this game against Southampton, or do you think he'll still play for under 23s?
I think it's probably too soon for him. I think he was really brilliant against Liverpool. I mean, I was almost staggered by how good he was, but then I guess it makes sense because it's under 23s and stuff, but he does look like a really, really, really exciting player. But I think he still needs a couple of weeks just to bed in. You know, he's just got here. But I think when he does come in, we don't want to put too much pressure on him, but he could really, really make a difference on that right-hand side, you know, and he looks like such an exciting player. And it would add, I think, what I took from the Sheffield game and the Arsenal game was we're a bit too predictable sometimes. And I think Diallo coming in would just be that element of unpredictability that we haven't really seen, I'd say, since, I guess Bruno came in or Greenwood came in, you know. And so I think, yeah, maybe bring him in a couple of weeks' time, but I still think he needs a bit more time to settle and maybe a few more under 23 games. But I do think he's brilliant and he will be a great player.
Yeah, Rani, what do you think about that? Because, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, that was the first game I've ever seen Amad Diallo play. He was frightening, the way that he was moving with the ball at his feet and how quick he actually is. But what do you think? Do you think if let's say you were Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, do you think that you would just put him in the team just now, bring him on possibly, or do you think you would give him a couple more weeks at the under 23s, try and flourish over there, and then see from that point on?
It's one of them, isn't it? I mean, before we signed him, I didn't even know who he was, but then I saw glimpses of it. I saw the highlights of the under 23 game. Scored brilliant goals, great goals he scored. Maybe I'd possibly start him on the bench and then maybe bring him in for a couple of minutes just to see how he is, if he's ready, if he's not. I think the one thing people should remember is that when you sign for a club like United, the pressure's already instantly on you to perform. In my opinion.
Oh anyway. Yeah, definitely. That's been the case for a while, and it's you look at it and you think, the new signings coming in, it's not been easy for a lot of the guys. And really, I can only think of a few players who have come straight into the first team and actually made a difference. And it's Robin van Persie and Bruno Fernandes, who are literally the best, probably one of the best in their position at that point in time. But as you said, Amad Diallo, he's a young guy, didn't know him. Whenever we paid that money for him, I was confused, lost.
I was like, "Who's this guy? Who?"
I was confused, and it was a weird one. But anyway, we'll go back to the lineup because I don't think he will start, but hopefully we'll be able to see him on the bench because he's been playing great for under 23s in his first game, and we're going to go into the midfield and talk about the formation, obviously. Raniel, I'm guessing you're going with possibly the diamond, possibly the 4 in midfield. Do you agree with this account here? Do you think the 4-4-2 or the 4-3-3? What would you say with your formation, obviously, in the midfield?
I mean, 4-3-3 works. Pogba, Bruno. I'd maybe slot in Matic for this one. Be that experience in there. Or I think what
is Matic. But what I've seen from Matic, sorry, I will interrupt you there, but I think that personally, from what I've seen from Nemanja Matic, yes, I love Nemanja Matic, and he's been a great servant for the club, and he's a born winner. But to be honest, it looks as if his legs are gone, and I think we need someone in there like Fred and McTominay. I know they're not obviously on the tip of everyone's tongues to be like, wow, they're the best players in the park. I mean, McShitch went off injured. We'll call it injured on the weekend there. But
that summed the game up, didn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's
one thing I don't understand is why Ollie doesn't start Van der Beek. It's like if it's not McTominay, in my opinion, it should be Van der Beek. It's like I know he's had glimpses here and there, and he hasn't been performing. But
where does the balance come into though? Like where does your balance in the midfield come into? Because I mean, what would you go with? So see for this game coming up against Southampton, I'd like to hear either your 3 or your 4 in midfield. What would it be, mate?
I'd personally go for a 4, thinking about it.
Yeah, so who would it be? What players would it include?
I'd go for a diamond personally. So you got Van der Beek, Bruno. Sorry, not Van der Beek, Fred, and then Bruno obviously up top.
Yeah, so
and
no Pogba. Yeah, Pogba.
Pogba slots in.
Yeah, I mean Pogba, I think he's pretty much undroppable just now, and I think I think everyone can agree that Pogba isn't good out in the right. It just shows you how the depth of our squad. If Paul Pogba's playing on the right wing, who really isn't got blistering pace, and all his main attributes are of a attacking midfielder, or you know what I mean, a kind of ball playing midfielder, which we definitely do need to help support Bruno. But yeah, I think I probably would agree with you. I'd love Van der Beek to play more, but I think the fan base is pretty split on that one. I think they really don't know what to say about him. They don't really know exactly what's going on, why he's not playing, why he's only coming on for the last 5 minutes. And Alexia, I'd quite like to talk about this before you give us your midfield. And I'd like to talk about the subs because, I mean, I think I absolutely love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. In my opinion, I know a lot of people are completely against him and they think we need a high-profile manager. But the substitutions and the time of the substitutions that we're making, it's as if we need to trust our starting 11 every game. But we've literally got the best bench in the league, and we're not using it. We're not using it early. We're not making the changes. And the one game we did make the changes was against Liverpool, and we saw slight benefits whenever Cavani came on, and we broke into the game. So, like I said, I'd obviously like to hear your views about that, about the substitutions at the moment, because I don't think it's good enough.
So, from what I've read about this, he's basically following the Ferguson playbook on this, because Ferguson always said that the best time in a game to make a substitution is the 71st minute. And if he does make changes, that's when we often see players coming on. And I genuinely believe that's why he does it when he does it. Because I was thinking about this, like, I remember when Jose Mourinho was in charge, sometimes we'd start really badly. I remember we played Newcastle at home once. Bailly was off after 20 minutes. You know,
usual.
He was a much more...
That's the usual that happens.
Yeah. But like, he's a much more reactionary manager, Jose Mourinho. Whereas I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer he's more calm and collected with it. And he always does leave it till quite late on in games. And yeah, I do agree sometimes he leaves it a bit too late. But my honest opinion is if we don't have Cavani on the bench and he's already on the pitch and we're losing, I don't really know what I would bring on to change the game in that scenario. Because if you've already got Pogba on, you've already got Bruno on, you've already got Rashford on, you've already got Cavani on, I'm not sure what he does to change it, unless maybe bring on Luke Shaw if he's not playing or something like that. But I think that's why he doesn't change it too much. But I do agree sometimes it's frustrating sitting there and thinking, this just isn't working, is it? We need to change something, and he doesn't do it. But I genuinely believe the reason is he is just following the Ferguson kind of manual of substitutions.
Yeah, but surely we've got a good enough bench where we can just bring in these type of players like Van der Beek, I mean, we don't obviously not to that quality, but we've got Dan James who has got a lot of pace, and we could bring on the later stages of games to kind of kill out the team possibly. And obviously we've got players like Juan Mata as well. I mean, personally, I wouldn't go with this midfield. I think Juan Mata, as much as I love him, I think he's kind of off pace at the moment. Just now, he's getting old. I'm not going to say like we just need a team of youngsters, but players like Matic and Mata for me are really struggling, and I've seen this in the last 2 years. They can't play as many games, and whenever they do play against a team like Southampton, who I'll go back to this point, and it's Southampton have got a very high press, which we all know of. We've got Oriol Romeo,
I fully agree with
Danny
that.
Ings, even Che Adams, those type of guys who catch us, they break us down and go for us. Possibly a player like Lindelof, I'm going to move on to the defence just now, would be better because, I mean, he is good on the ball. I think everyone says, oh, Eric Bailly isn't as great on the ball, and I need to agree with that. I think whenever Eric Bailly's on the ball, you're wondering, like, what is he going to do here? Whereas when Lindelof's on the ball, anyway, he done well whenever he's came in this season. I think he just looks better, looks more composed, and he can find a forward pass more. So I'd like to hear, Rani, I'd like to hear from you first about the defence and who would you go with?
As much as I'm not a huge fan of Harry Maguire, I feel like we've got no other options on the bench. Although Phil Jones is available. That was a joke.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back. Good old Calamity Jones, isn't it?
Right, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop you there, Raniel, and I need to ask you why, because I mean Harry Maguire's our best centre back for me, and
he's got a lot of mistakes in him. Sorry.
Yeah, but no, it's okay. But you look at it and you think, I mean, I do go off stats for quite a lot of things, and you look at his stats, you look at his pass completions, you look at his actual overall stats on certain websites. The name has completely lost me, but they rate people very harshly. And over the last 10 games, which is probably a fair representation because we've not played great and we've also played very well. And Harry Maguire's been one of our highest rated players over this period of time. And I'll let you obviously talk about this whenever we finish, but Harry Maguire is our best defender and he is our captain, so it's not going to change for me. And he costed £80 million, which wasn't his fault, which we do need to remember.
Oh, I'm not.
It was the owner's fault and the club's fault. It wasn't his fault. He didn't put that price tag on himself. He's playing he's England's best defender. I know you guys probably will disagree, but for me, he is their best defender. What more do they have? So, Daniel, I'd obviously like to hear what you think about that.
I think Maguire's more stable with Eric Bailly next to him, personally. If you look at those last couple of games.
If you look at the last couple of games, though, it's an 0-0 draw against.
I think we've had clean sheets, and
you know.
I think Ollie doesn't trust. I think Ollie doesn't trust Bailly when it comes to the big teams, because he is rash. I'll give him that. He does like to go in and get tackled and puts his body on the line, whereas Lindelof is obviously more stable. But I think for games like this, Bailly and Maguire might maybe keep a clean sheet against Southampton. Or maybe I'm talking nonsense, but you never know.
Yeah, I just don't think I would go with those two because, I mean, you look at Lindelof and you think he's not as strong as Bailly, as we know, but near Southampton strikers, they're more kind of on the press, on your feet, looking for the ball. But I mean, against teams like Everton on the kind of similar level as them, then you'd play Bailly, who will go up and win the header against Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who would manage to close down certain players in the attacking mid like James Rodriguez. But for me, this game, I would go Lindelof, but I can definitely see why you would go with Bailly because he has been good whenever he's came on and whenever he's actually had a run of games. But I'm just struggling to see how Eric Bailly can have a long-term future at United because he can't stay fit. His legs are like made of glass. It's a difficult one for me. And we'll finish off, Raniel, with your left and right backs.
think my mic's gone.
No, you're here. You're okay.
Oh.
Um,
No, I couldn't hear the last part.
yeah. So, I was just going to ask you about your left and right back. Who would you choose to start against Southampton? Because I mean, they've obviously got Redmond and they've got Bertrand as well, like guys like that who are Premier League proven, really good in it, and the kind of trade they do. Who would you go with? Would you go with Shaw, Telles? I mean, obviously right back, it's quite hard to choose anyone else apart from.
For this game, I'd go for Shaw.
Yeah, I think he's probably been our best player.
Wan-Bissaka's been, yeah. I think since it's weird because before you signed Alex Telles, I was thinking, okay, it's goodbye for Luke Shaw. But since he's come in, I think Shaw has changed it around quite a bit. He's improved a lot since Telles has came in, which has shocked me because I thought, yeah, Luke Shaw's done out here.
Yeah, for wing backs in the league, Daniel, he's created the most chances for any wing back in the league, and I mean he's up against probably the best time ever in Premier League history that we've had all these wing backs who just are swinging balls in and creating chances like your Robertsons, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Reece James. We've got these type of guys who are not scared to put in a cross, and it goes to show that Luke Shaw is just thriving under the fact that he's finally got competition, and I think he's made his place his own. Even though I love Telles and I think this guy is really good and he's got a lot of potential, I think it's a tough one. But yeah, I think I would have to go with not Telles. I'd have to go with Shaw. And United against Glazers, which is quite a obviously controversial name in the United fan base. Bailly Lindelof for me, or even Shaw and bench Slabhead. Yeah, so Rani, I mean, you've got a friend over there. I mean, bench Harry Maguire. I definitely wouldn't do that. No way. In this world, I would ever go with Bailly and Lindelof. For me, he's obviously our best centre back. But everyone's open to their own opinions. I mean, we disagree all the time over here on Trafford Talk. Me and Alexi got on quite well. we got on quite well. So, Alexi, I'm going to move on to you and we'll talk about our defence just now because, I mean, it's caused quite a controversial topic by the looks of it.
I think it will be Maguire, Lindelof, Shaw and Wan-Bissaka. And I think with the Bailly thing that you were both saying about, I think Bailly as a one-on-one defender is undoubtedly a lot better than Lindelof. But the way we play, I noticed this against Arsenal, is like Lindelof and Maguire push up sometimes and the wingers go a bit wider and then they play the ball through and it sets a counter-attack up. And I think Lindelof is there as, I guess you could call him a philosophy player or something, someone he's there to link the counter-attack and to play passes out wide and in behind. And I think that's why, especially in this game, when we're going to be doing a lot of counter-attacking, I think, because it's going to be a really frantic game, I would definitely play Lindelof. Although I think, Bailly definitely has his uses for certain games, like, against Aston Villa, I think it was. Superb block at the end. And as a one-on-one defender, he's genuinely one of the best around, but I just think Lindelof's distribution is why he's there. And obviously, I think it's one of them where I think if we let's say we took out Lindelof and put in Bailly, we might notice it in transition in this game on the counter-attack and stuff. And then Shaw, I just play Shaw because I think he's been one of our best players this season.
Yeah, I don't know how you couldn't start Shaw. I mean, I think we can agree on that. He's just been the best left back in the league.
Do you know what I find crazy is we played Liverpool twice in a week, and I think in the first game he was definitely man of the match. In the second game he probably wasn't quite man of the match because Greenwood and Rashford played really well and Salah was good, but he was one of the best players on the pitch, undoubtedly. And that's in 2 games, Liverpool United. And that's such a big turnaround because it wasn't that long ago that we were playing Brighton and he was getting skinned and stuff like that. And he was really, really bad. But he's improved so much, and I've been proved wrong about him because I thought his decision making was completely wrong. I thought he didn't make the runs when he should, but he's improved so much, and it's really great to see. And I like his mentality as well because he's. I think after the Arsenal game, they asked him about it, and he just said, "We know it's an opportunity missed. If you want to win leagues, you've got to beat Arsenal." And I think his mentality is right, and it seems to be there. And then right back is Wan-Bissaka because I like Wan-Bissaka, but there's no one else anyway, is there? So he's just got to play.
That's exactly how it is with Wan-Bissaka. I mean, who else are we going to play it right back? We don't really have the numbers over there. I mean, I thought we were obviously going to sign Max Arns. I was quite confident that was going to go through, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. It doesn't look like we're going to improve the squad at all over January. So, yeah, I think whenever we're going to have this chat about the team, Wan-Bissaka is basically guaranteed every game to slot in at right back. And then I think we can all agree De Gea in goals. And, I mean, as I like Dean Henderson, it looks like he's only going to play cup games and possibly in Europa League as well. So, anyone to disagree with that one?
No, I fully agree.
No, I think, I think David De Gea has obviously been hot and cold at moments, but I think he's still our best defender, best keeper, and one of the best keepers in the league, which we all know. Were you going to say something there, Ranio, about De Gea, or what's your thoughts about him?
Who's that, sorry?
De Gea, David De Gea. So what's your thoughts about him? Do you like him over Dean Henderson? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I think he just gives us more.
Keeper. I know I know a lot of people say he had a bad season last season, but he's made up for it this season. Less errors compared to last season so far, as far as I know.
And that does come down to competition. It comes down to competition that we've seen Luke Shaw thrive under, and we've also seen this happen with David De Gea. So we need, as we say here, we need someone to try and challenge Wan-Bissaka and try and push him on, because we know exactly how good Wan-Bissaka is in his ability. He's one-on-one defending. He's probably the best wing back in the league for that. The way he can just slide in, win the ball, and that's it. But Brandon Williams, I mean, I think he's obviously miles off at the moment, but it would still be worthwhile to bring him in possibly and challenge Wan-Bissaka possibly. But he's been playing for another 23s, so it doesn't look likely at the moment.
But with Brandon, I think he originally started out as a right back in the youth team.
Yep.
And then he got put to left back last season. So I think Scott. I mean, I like the name as well. I think they are right in saying he will probably be the competition at right back, but he has struggled a bit this season in terms of getting opportunities and minutes in the team. But I think we probably do need a backup right back, or get Ethan Laird back at the end of the season and put him in, because it's a heavy workload for Wan-Bissaka, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got a lot of games and short turnover. I mean, we were playing at the weekend there, and then we're going to Southampton. No, we're back at Old Trafford on a nighttime game, 8:15, which is never a good one. I mean, I even hate watching those games. I would much rather it be a kind of 3 o'clock kickoff around about that time. But yeah, there's absolutely no structure to this league. We're not seeing weekend games as usual, because we've obviously got the midweek game shoved in somewhere. So we're either playing on like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, we played every day this year, and it's quite annoying, obviously, the fact that we do need to chop and change the team because there's such a quick turnover of games. But I think Ole is dealing with it very well. Obviously, we've got a lot of midfielders that are usable. Even we can look at Juan Mata, Dan James out in the wing as well. We can look at these type of guys who are perfect squad players. But at the moment, we definitely need to start our best team against Southampton. And I'm going to quickly talk about Southampton because obviously they haven't got the best kind of run of games recently. They've lost their last two. As we know, obviously they lost 1-0 against Aston Villa, which was an absolute crazy offside for Danny Ings. His arm was offside, which for me, I'm a football referee, it's never an offside. The fact that his arm's offside, if he scored with that arm, that would not count either. So it's crazy and it's very unlucky for them. Obviously, they lost 3-1 against Arsenal, which against a struggling Arsenal. I mean, I was going to slag them there, but they've literally picked up 4 points against us. So what can I say? They looked very poor that game, I felt, and I'm sure the one cup games just before that. So it's kind of been hot and cold for Southampton, just like us. And as we know, obviously they got off to a great start in the season, doing much better than us the way they started. But now they've kind of clocked off, and I think this has all came down to their manager, Hasselhoff, and he's a fantastic manager. Definitely deserves a step up to a bigger team. No disrespect to Southampton, obviously they've been doing great in the league over the last couple of years, but he's a top tier manager, and he's bringing the most out of certain players, especially Danny Ings. I mean, I think we can all agree he will probably be the danger man against us, and I hope we're tight on him. Don't give him space, and basically just don't let the teams play. Don't give them respect. And I mean, you never know. We might be able to get a victory. I hope so. But I just want to then move on and talk about what's your score prediction, because I mean, I think I've got this wrong every week. Probably not as far off as Alexei. I mean, he said 4-0 United against Sheffield United. I don't think I'll ever let that one go.
But do you know what? When I said 4-0, just thinking that, and then I was sat there watching the game and we're 1-0 down, and I was thinking, I just look really silly now.
Yeah, so Rani, we'll start off with you for your score prediction.
Well, it was weird because for the Sheffield game, I had a bad feeling that we dropped points for some reason. I should have put a bet on it. Anyway, for the Southampton game, I don't know. I reckon it's going to be one of those another banana skin moments. Hopefully, I'm wrong. My head says 1-1, but my heart's 2 United.
Yeah, we want a win. Let's try and stay positive for the game ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know this league. Everyone's picking up points against everyone.
2-1.
Right, okay, that's good. I like that. And who would your scorers be? Because I mean, I think I'd know mine. Daniel, who would you go for your scorers?
The scorers.
Yeah.
Oh, Cavani and Greenwood.
Yeah, I hope Cavani does, because I mean, I don't know if you guys obviously saw his video that he put up on Twitter where he's like, I need to try hard, I need to do better, and it was like I thought it was like a troll account. I thought some Chelsea fan made it, or like, you know, Arsenal fan, someone like that, and they put it up, try to slag him, but it's all Cavani's mistakes recently, and he's obviously desperate to get on the score sheet. So I really hope that he manages to score. I mean, Alex McCarthy's been great for Southampton this season, so it'll be very hard, obviously, to get past him. But yeah, I mean, anything's possible. Just don't give a free kick away in the edge of the box, because James Ward-Prowse, as we previously know, is an amazing set piece specialist. And yeah, so I'll give you my prediction. I mean, United against Glazers is back again, and that's like me until now, because it's quite good, obviously, to talk about this on the podcast. And I really don't like to predict it either, because I always get brought up on it, and I get slagged for it, and I get tormented because we're bad, we lose, whatever. Like Alexei, I mean, I'm never going to let that go for what he said when it was 4-0. He was completely off with that one. So I'm going to go with
off, to be fair. Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 3-2, because I think it'll be end to end. As we know, Southampton are very they go off reactions at points. They're very. They obviously can take goals. As we know, Danny Ings is probably one of the best strikers in the league at the moment. And then, I mean, United on the counter attack, you never know. We can always get a goal. because I don't think Southampton will sit in. They like to play high. They like to get right in our faces. So hopefully we're able to catch them out. Yeah, so I'm going to go 3-2. And I'll say Cavani. I hope Cavani gets 2, just so he can put out another video and celebrate the 2 goals. And I'm going to hope. I mean, Fred. I don't even know if Fred will start, but I saw something and someone did say Fred looks as if whenever he shoots, he's got flip flops on. Like he just, it kind of just goes wide and that's it. It's like a young child is hitting the ball whenever he's shooting. It's so weak and kind of lost. But no, I don't think Fred will score. I think it would be Bruno Fernandes.
I love how Fred always is in around there when we have a free kick, because it's just like, mate, you're not getting anywhere near it. Bruno's here. It's just,
yeah, it's Bruno or Rashford that's going to take the free kick, and he's always kind of about there. And I think he scored a free kick against Man City in the Champions League for Shakhtar Donetsk, and it was before we signed him, obviously. And I was like, this guy must be good. And I've not seen him manage to clear the ball that far off the ground since. Like he seems to struggle in that, but yeah, I think he's obviously better suited defending and holding the midfield together. So Alexei, the floor is yours. I mean, you've messed it up before with the score predictions, so I'll go back to you and let's hope you get it right this time.
So I've got my last 2 really, really wrong. So I think I said we were going to beat Arsenal 3-0 or something.
Yeah, it was close.
And I said we were going to beat Sheffield 4-0.
Yeah, that was just a wee bit off.
That was very wrong. This just sounds like I'm setting up myself a fader again. I'm going to go 4-2 United. The reason being, I think 4-2. This is just going to be the most. It's going to be the most erratic. Yeah. I just think it could be like another Leeds game, just really erratic and open. I might be wrong, but I just think it's going to be like a basketball game, back and forth. And I think they will probably score, but I think an open game is exactly what we need right now. We just need to go and score loads of goals because, it's only last week we had an open game against Liverpool and scored 3, but we struggled against Sheffield because they sat deep. Arsenal sat quite deep as well. But yeah, I'm gonna say 4-2, and yeah, you never know, that might be right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make sure to pass that on to Cam. I mean, Raniel, you won't know, but I don't do the previews usually. I'm just standing in for Cam, who's moving house at the moment, so that's why he's not on. If you look at my face and you're like, who are you? If you guys are obviously watching, you're still tuning in. But yeah, I'll need to pass it on to Cam because Alexis always wrong. So I mean, it can be anything. Yeah, he's always very far off. So last thoughts about the game, Raniel. I mean, if you've got anything else to add that we've missed out on. Because I mean, I could talk about United for days, just like Alexi, I know you could as well. If you get any last thoughts about United and what you want us to take into the game tomorrow, just even about
attack.
Yeah, that is literally what we need to do, because whenever we play that style of football, the classic Fergie style of football, which is clearly engraved into Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it works. And we score goals and we get results, and it gets players like Bruno Fernandes involved. It gets players like Rashford in their best positions. But yeah, I'll quickly move on to Alexi just before we finish off. We've been going for about 45 minutes just now, so I could talk about this for ages, this game.
Yeah, I think what I want to see, I know I keep referencing the Leeds game, but I really, really hope we see it like the Leeds game, where a few minutes in, we're just starting lightning fast, just getting in there straight away, pressing, attacking and everything. So we've started slow quite a lot this season. But that was one of the games where we didn't. And I think that was probably our best performance of the season. I just want to see from minute 1, just really high energy, high intensity, because that wasn't there against Sheffield at all. And it wasn't even really there against Arsenal. So yeah, I just want to see high pressure, high intensity, hopefully an early goal.
Yeah. Definitely start quick and we'll see the benefits, because we've not got off to a great start at any game this season apart from Leeds, and we need more of that. We need more of our players breaking through defences, which players like Martial and Pogba are used to doing, but Martial is really struggling. I can't see him starting tomorrow. I think he needs time off. But yeah, we need players like Mason Greenwood on who are raw talent. They can just get the ball out their feet and score. And I think I'm going to call it there, guys. It's obviously been great having everyone on. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast. The review will be on at 10:15, just straight after the game tomorrow with Ahmed, the usual host for the review, with some United fans who are just wanting to come on and talk about the game and hopefully be happy because I mean I'll be backing the team right to the final whistle because you never know. It might be a difficult game, might be an easy one. I just hope we get the 3 points and we take on the next game. So if you guys haven't already, it'd be great if you could like and subscribe on YouTube. It will be obviously on Twitter as well. We're getting most of the views, but it would be great if we could obviously take some of you guys onto YouTube as well because we're wanting to grow on there and have some success and bring on as many United fans as possible, like Raniel, who just got in touch and he managed to get him on and talk about United, have a genuine chat. So, yeah, I'm just going to end it there, guys. Thanks for coming on. You're obviously more than welcome to come on again.